Hello watchers, welcome to the Recall Lab. Today we will gonna explain a 2013 fantasy adventure movie in which Giant Man's army attacked on Earth and a farmer and princess tries to stop them with the help of a crown. So let's begin and watch out for spoilers. Movie begins where we see a kid whose name is Jack and he was playing with his toy and then his dad came and asked him to sleep. He found his mother's diary and asked his dad to read it. His dad read a story in which few priests grow a plant which will go up in the sky. They thought they will climb the plant and meet God in heaven, but they reach to a place where giant creatures live and those creatures with the help of plant find a way to come down to Earth, and they start hunting humans. Then King Eric ordered his men to find a solution and priests with the help of their power make one crown which can control the giant creatures, and then King Eric with the help of that crown ordered giant creatures to go to their own place. And the crown and the seed of that plant were buried with the King Eric. Then Jack read that at the end of the story is written that those giant creatures were waiting to attack again and they will kill all King Eric's successor. Now we move 10 years ahead and we see that Jack has grown up and he lived with his uncle and he is going to sell their horse because they have no money left for survival. When Jack reached to the city he sees one girl who is watching a play. Then few men start misbehaving with her and Jack went to protect her. They hit him but later they all found out that she is the princess of the kingdom and her name is Isabelle and guard came to take her with them. And then they leave the market. Then we see Roderick who is among the close members of King and he was with Wick and entered a room, but at the door they collide with a priest but they ignored him. Then Roderick went in and saw that those seeds are missing and he sees that the crown is still there. He orders to close all the city door and search that priest. Then in market Jack meet the priest and priest wants to buy his horse. He don't have money so he gave those seeds to Jack and asked him to take these seeds to church and gave them to priest Peter and he will give you your money there and he said that these seeds has the power to change the world. He said that don't lose these seeds and at any cost don't let these seeds came in contact with water. Then priest try to run away from the soldiers with the help of horse but they catch him. And Jack's uncle is scolding him that he was fooled by the priest and now they have no money. He said that the story that the priest said was fake. We see that Isabella was arguing with his dad whose name is Bromwell and he is the king. She argued that she don't want to marry Roderick and she wants to connect with the people of their kingdom and she wants to go alone to meet them. But Bromwell didn't agree and said that you will marry Roderick. And Jack's uncle takes few items of Jack's father and went to sell them and Jack argued not to sow this and in this his uncle throw those seeds and one seed went in the hole. Then Roderick and Wick were interrogating the priest but he said that those seeds were made with the help of black magic and you should leave them where they are. Roderick asked him the last time where are the seeds but priest didn't open his mouth so he killed him. We see that Isabella left the palace and she was moving on a horse, and it was raining heavily. Jack's uncle also didn't return. Isabella saw light and a house so she went there and Jack thought that he must go to find his uncle. As he opened the door to go outside he saw Isabella outside and she was asking permission to stay there. He take her in and they start talking. She tries to hide her identity but Jack knew she is the princess. And we see that Jack's house roof is leaking and water is moving towards the seed which went inside the hole. Jack confronts her and bent his knee to respect her but she said him to stand and thank him for saving her in the market. Then we see that water touched the seed and from it plants start growing. And suddenly it turns into a giant plant. It covered the house and Isabelle trapped inside the house. Jack tries to help her but the house start moving upward with the plant. Jack climb on the plant and start moving upward. He reaches to the house and try to cut the plant. He cut the plant but when Isabella opens the doors suddenly the wood breaks and Jack fell down. Jack tries to hold Isabella's hand but he couldn't and he only manages to catch Isabella's bracelet and then he fell down. While falling Jack collides with many branches and when he fell on the ground he fell asleep. Next morning when Jake wakes up he was surrounded by guards and King was also present there. Jack explains everything to them and then King asks his guard to send best soldiers to climb the tree and take back her daughter. Roderick also agreed to go upward. Jack said that he also wants to go and Roderick said that Jack is the only one who saw everything so it would be better if we take him with us. King agreed and told them to go. They start moving forward and King watched them from the ground. Then Elmont talks with Jack and he said that you came with us to impress the princess. Jack said no and Elmont said that's good, even if you want the law will not allow princess to marry a common man. Then they start moving forward and in night it was raining heavily and one soldier struck by lightning and he fell down and below him many soldiers were hanging. They asked to help but Roderick told Wick to cut the rope and he cut the rope and they fell down. Roderick told Elmont that the rope breaks because of their load. Next morning when Jack wakes up he saw they reached above the clouds, and he saw the land of giant creatures and his house also. They couldn't find the princess in the house, so they thought that she went to the land. They found her footprint and went to search her. Roderick told Jack to give him those seeds, otherwise he will kill him and his uncle. Jack gave him the pouch, but he secretly kept one seed with him. On land, Commander found the dead bodies of their soldiers, and he sees that the rope has been cut by any member of the group. Jack and other members reached to a location where Jack found the book he gave to Princess, and he told that she is in danger and been attacked by someone. Elmont told everyone to be alert as they reached to enemy's territory and said that the story that our elders told us about giant creatures is real. Jack and Elmont saw sheep and they went to catch them, but Jack and one other member fell in a trap. Elmont tried to cut the rope, but then they see that birds start shouting. They somehow manages to come out of the trap and they hear voices from the jungle, so they start running away. Then they saw a giant man and they all hide themselves. But that giant man see one of their member and catch him. Elmont went to help him, but he also got injured, and that giant man take both of them with him. Jack hide himself. Then Jack follows him. Roderick and Wick throw one of the guard down from the mountain, and while they were talking, one giant man catch Wick and killed him. Other one was about to kill Roderick, but then he take out the crown and they stops. Then we see Jack reach to a location, and the commander of those giant man was talking with Isabella. He asked her the way from which she came here, but Isabella didn't tell him. Then that commander told her that you all might forget us and remember us only in stories, but we didn't forget anyone, and we still remember King Eric, and we know you are his successor. Then another giant man brings Elmont and one soldier there. Commander killed the soldier, and they were about to kill Isabella, but then Roderick entered the room and he ordered them to stop. They did this because he wore that crown and they have to follow his command. He ordered everyone to bend their knees in front of him. Then Isabella and Elmont thought that Roderick will help them, but he didn't listen to them. He ordered those giant mans to fight war for him. First they will capture England Kingdom and after that whole world. Isabella tells him to stop, but he didn't listen to them. He ordered them to be prepared for war and they will leave next morning. Then Jack went inside and he sees a giant man who carried both Isabella and Elmont. That giant man put Elmont in between a roll as he wants to eat him, but he went to search some more spices. Then Jack went there, he gave knife to Elmont and then he hid himself. Then that giant man put Elmont on a plate and put that plate on fire. Then that man takes out Isabella and was about to cut her with knife, but then Jack climb over with the help of rope and jump on that giant creature with a knife. Elmont free himself and escaped from the plate. Jack kills that man and freed them. Elmont praised him as he killed that giant man. On Earth, King asked Army Chief that what should we do. He asked him that whether we should cut the plant or not, because if those giant men will come before Isabella, then those men will destroy our whole kingdom and no one would able to stop them. Isabella was sad because she thought it was her fault. If she wouldn't have left the palace, that nothing will happen. Then Jack said that if you haven't left the palace, that Roderick will easily execute his plan, but now we know his true intentions. They follow the water so that it will take them to the exit of this place. But when they reached there, they saw one giant man sleeping on the cave. Then Jack suggests we will wake him up with the help of honeybees. Then he put honeybees' nest in that giant man's helmet and then he wakes up. He tries to avoid those bees and then he fell from the place. They all were happy that their plan works. Then Elmont said them to go ahead and told that he will come only after taking that crown. He gave his badge to Jack and told him that now you are one among us. Then that giant man falls on the earth, and when King saw this, he ordered his army chief to cut the plant. He said that old stories were real and to save his people they must do it. But Army Chief knew that if they cut the plant, then that means they will never see their princess again. So to show them, King take his sword and went near the plant and start cutting it. After seeing that, Army Chief ordered everyone to cut the plant. Then Elmont see an army of those giant men and they approached to the cave. Then Roderick went near the cave and Elmont attacked him and they both fell in the cave. Those giant men start breaking the cave and Elmont and Roderick were fighting. Roderick was about to throw Elmont off the place, but Elmont grabs his knife and injured Roderick. And then Roderick died, but before Elmont grabs the crown, giant man's commander take him out and then he wears that crown as ring and now he became their king. And that time on Earth they cut the plant and it start falling down. Elmont jumps on it. Jack and Isabella fell on the ground, but they survived and Elmont jumps in the water. And that giant commander shouts because they were not able to attack on Earth. King was sad because he thought that Isabella was no more, but then Army Chief brings both Jack and Isabella. Isabella said that only Elmont was alive from the soldiers, but he stays there to fight Roderick. She said that Roderick wants to rule England and whole world. Then King give reward to Jack and thanks him for saving Isabella. Jack gave his book to Isabella so that she would not forget him, but she said that she don't need anything to remember him, she will never forget him. And then King and Isabella left the place. Then we see that giant commander found that pouch and then he throws those seeds in water. Now 4 plants start growing and he ordered them to go for war. And then they all starts coming down. Jack was present there and he saw those plants coming down. He start riding horse towards the city to inform them about this. King and Isabella were going towards the palace and then Jack shout to Ran. They couldn't hear him, but when he came close they saw those giant men who destroyed the forest and were running behind him. They ordered to run towards the palace. Those giants start hunting soldiers one by one. Only King, Isabella and Jack were alive and they were riding towards the palace. At Palace Elmont was present and he already warned soldiers for the war. They pour oil in the water and fire it. They all entered the palace and Jack somehow manages to enter the palace. Soldiers shoot the giant commander and he fell in the fire. But from there he found a sewer tunnel. Elmont said that he killed Roderick, but now the giant commander has the crown. Then they start throwing objects in the palace and with hook they try to open the door. Soldiers try to hold it. King tells Isabella to go to the church tower and light the fire so that neighboring kingdom will be aware of the danger. King told Jack to take care of Isabella and they start moving ahead. Isabella said to take a shortcut from the sewer tunnel. Those giant men were throwing fire trees inside the palace and Elmont told he didn't find any weakness of these giant men. Soldiers shoot bows and killed many giant men, but then one giant man destroyed the arrow machine. When Isabella and Jack reach to the room, then giant commander breaks the floor and enter in that room. They hide themselves, but the commander can smell them. Giant commander finds them and they start running. Commander catches Isabella and to protect her Jack try to fight the giant. Commander was about to eat him, but then Jack throw that plant seed which he secretly kept with himself in Commander mouth. And then the seeds start growing into plant. Commander throws away Isabella and Jack and then plant starts growing and start coming out from his body. Commander's body breaks into small pieces and his fingers on which he wears the crown fell in front of Jack. The giant man's army opens the door and then King and soldiers prepare themselves for the battle. Giant's army entered into the palace and they were about to kill the soldiers, but then the plant grows outside the palace and it destroyed it. Suddenly those giant men's heart starts beating rapidly and they put their weapon down and they all bend their knee. Then King and soldier turn around and sees that Jack has that crown and he wears it, and Isabella holds his hand. After seeing this, King knew Isabella loves Jack, and everyone starts celebrating that they won the war. They cut the plant and King make the new rule that princess can marry common man. Now Jack is married to Isabella and he is narrating this story to their children, and told them that the crown is kept at a safe place. And at present the crown is kept at a museum and school children visit there and guide explain them about it. And we see that the giant men's place is still there. The movie ends here.